Hi there, Natalie with you today with a new process video for Pinkfresh Studio. And this time we're using the Home for the Holidays collection to create layouts that be inspired for our Christmas celebrations. And what I'm going to use this time around is one of the new cut files. There's a whole number of cut files that are going to be available at the shop very soon, and they're all going to coordinate with the Home for the Holidays collection. And I chose this group of presents just because the picture that I'm going to document is actually of my kids, not my kids, my niece and nephew, sorry, in front of the Christmas tree. So you're gonna see that the grouping of the presents has this tall present at the back and smaller ones at the front. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna cut two of the same cut files that are from white cardstock. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut the tall present from one of them. I'm just gonna carefully fussy cut it, and then I'm gonna move it so that it helps me kind of extend the design. So what I'm going to show you right now is the different ways of how I back this cut file. So first thing is I play with some of the papers. I'm going to use pretty much every single paper. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to flip my cut file and find one of the papers, and I'm actually going to flip. I'm going to get like the B side. It will be the side that I wanted to be on the I'm going to choose the side that I want to be at the front, and I'm going to flip the paper so I get the B side. I'm going to flip the cut file and go with a pencil around the outline just so that I mark the area of the cut file that I want to cover with this paper. Once you're going to see that I'm carefully going with my pencil outside of the line of the area that I want to cover, in this case, or back with the paper, and then I'm gonna go ahead and fussy cut it with my pair of scissors. Just carefully cut it. I'm still gonna have to trim after because it's not gonna be exact, so I'm just gonna carefully cut around the area that I want to cover, and I'm gonna set it aside. Now the papers in this collection are gorgeous, lots of designs, but if you're gonna see the cut file, it actually has an area of paper and also a bow. So to create the bows, because I had all those patterns, I had decided that I wanted to bring something a little bit more I'm gonna say less busy. So for this, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring some of the new inks, and I'm using Berrylicious Sky Blue. I use Sapphire to create some of my own pattern paper. So what I'm using is one brush just to kind of help me diffuse the color on plain white cardstock, and for this one I'm using Berrylicious. So you're gonna see that I'm just using my brush to collect some of the ink, and then I'm going on a circular motion on the cardstock, and this is just smooth cardstock. And then once you're gonna see that I'm gonna bring the cut file every so often just to make sure that I have coverage enough to be able to back my little bow in this case. And I'm gonna set that paper on the side just to make sure that it dries completely before I decide to cut and back my cut file. While that is happening and the inks are setting, I'm gonna go ahead and start marking all the rest of the presents that I want to back using the papers. And this collection, the beauty of this collection, it has yellows, it has navies, it has sky blues, it has teals. There's a rainbow of colors, so there's lots to choose from. So you're gonna see that I'm just gonna carefully go ahead and start finding papers that are actually well, everything matches, but that I'm just gonna be very careful when it comes to the bows in this case, because I just want to make sure that they are not busy. I want to keep them as neutral as I can. So you're gonna see, for example, of this paper, which is my favorite paper, and I think I'm down to half a page by the end of these projects. Was carefully when I trimmed the paper or the pieces of paper to back the bow. It took me a while because I wanted to make sure that I only captured the yellow part of the paper. I don't want to have the mistletoe little vines that are happening, so it took me a while just to cut that. But you're gonna see that once I have it in cut, I'm just gonna go ahead and add a little bit of glue behind the cut file, on the back side of the cut file, glue the paper, and then I'm actually gonna use an eraser just to clean the pencil lines that I had, and then carefully fussy cut any extra pieces of paper that are coming off the outline of the cut file that I'm backing in this case. So backing a cut file is something that's very relaxing. It does take some time. There's different ways of backing a cut file. This is one of them. Just like I said, like by drawing the design. A lot of people, not the people, designers work that way, and it's an easy way because you kind of get a better idea of what you're backing. So it's only a little bit of fussy cutting at the end just to kind of trim the edges. But there's also other ways of backing a card file. I'm going to show you. You're going to see right now that I have my little my ink is already dry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just add glue to the back of the bow, in this case of the second present, and I'm just not going to cut it into pieces. I'm going to do it all at once. So all I'm doing is adding the glue onto the back of my card file, the area that I'm gonna back, and then I'm gonna glue it straight onto the paper. And you're gonna see that even though I measure it, I missed a little part, so I'm just gonna go ahead and lift the card file, add a little bit more of the glue of the ink, and glue it. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead with a pair of scissors and just kind of detail around the area that I'm gonna back. And this takes time, but you also have to be careful that you don't cut the card file. So there's different ways of doing it, whatever you feel comfortable working with and whatever is easier for you. So again, I'm just gonna continue working on backing my card file. It took me a while just because like I said, I had to create some of the papers just because I wanted a combination of pattern and also solid papers. And to create the solids to back this, I had to use the inks. And the inks that I use, like I said, is sky blue, sapphire, berrylicious. These are the colors that match the papers in this collection. So you see that the big tall present on this grouping, it was actually, I made the paper also for the blue bow that you see. And that blue, why I created that blue is because in the tree you're gonna see I have some bulbs that have that color, and also my nephews wearing pants the same color. So I just wanted to create bring those tones into the layer. And then again, I'm just gonna continue backing my card files, and once I have them ready, then I'm gonna go ahead and start setting up. You're gonna see that I have a whole bunch of pictures. I kind of play with a few ideas of what I wanted to create until I found this picture right there. That's the one that I'm gonna document. So then it was all about not creating, but finding the perfect background. And I really considered doing it on white, but I wanted something that was going to be very festive, that was going to make everything stand out. And I'm just playing right now with what it's going to look like. And once I'm happy with that, what it looks like, I went and started looking at all the papers that I had left over that were full, because like you're gonna see I cut out pretty much pieces of every single one of the papers. And I came to this is the name of the paper is Peace and Joy, and it's the one that has the beautiful hands written sentiments on the one side, and the B side has this little I'm gonna say it's like a cross patch on a really nice coral tone, but it has these little rhomboids on the pattern, and I'm going to use them to create, to stitch my background. And what I'm going to do is, if you see the tree, it has a lot of lights, so I thought about like a sparkling, shining little stars. So I'm going to pick up some of the rhomboids and I'm going to mark them with a pencil. That's what I'm doing right now, is just adding a dot to all the rhomboids that I want to create stitching on. And my idea is I'm going to create little stars. Think of it as little sparkles, like the little sparkles that you see of the tree. So once I know which ones I'm going to use, I'm just going to use my paper piercing tool, and all I'm going to do is kind of create a little star in the inside rhomboid of each one of the pattern that this paper has. So it's gonna take me a while just to create that. It's not gonna be every single one of the rhomboids. It's gonna be just like a little grouping and then a little space. I just want to, like I said, kind of mimic what the tree looks like. Once I have all the holes pierced, I'm gonna go ahead and just back stitch my design using white embroidery floss. And again, this took me a while just because I wanted to make sure that I had everything in place before I created it. So I'm just going to show you a little bit of how I started, and then I'm going to take it off camera and just finish it. But I really love how this turned out. It just brought that little extra to the background. It just brought the idea of the lights twinkling from the tree onto the background. So you're going to see, once I'm showing you 2 or 3, I'm going to take it off camera, finish it, and then when I come back, I'm just going to set the layout, because everything pretty much is all done. So you're gonna see right now that one of the things I'm gonna work with is once I set my layout is dimension. And the idea of working with dimension is gonna work really well because I wanna make sure that the picture looks like it's kind of nestled in between the tree and between the present, sorry. So I'm gonna add a little bit of glue dots onto one of the CAD files, and that's just gonna create a little bit of dimension. It's gonna pop them off the page, but not extremely a lot, just a little bit, just to give them a soft shadow. And then the next one, which is the one that is going to be sitting right in front of the picture of my niece and nephew, I'm going to add a foam adhesive behind it, and it's kind of a little bit thicker, so it's going to make them make these presents kind of pop out more off the page. And then I continue playing with this idea also with the little present that I cut off. And then I'm gonna go ahead and back. I debated between keeping the picture just without any paper behind it, but I think it needs something to make it stand out just because of the white borders of the CAD files. So I'm going to choose one of the papers from the home for the holidays, and it's the one that is the navy with the snowflakes, just because I wanted that navy to be the frame that is gonna define the picture. It's kind of gonna make it stand out. Like I said, having the white edge of the picture and the white edge of the CAD files, it wasn't they were just getting lost. So by adding this little frame, it's gonna make the picture stand out. So once I have it in place, you're gonna see that I'm also gonna add a little bit of foam adhesive behind it, just to make sure the picture stands out, but that it's nestled in between all the presents that I have there. Now once I have that in place, my layout is pretty much done. It's just gonna come into embellishing, and I'm not gonna add lots of embellishments just because I have the background that has all those, like I said, all the twinkling lines. I also have all the presents different colors, so it's not gonna need a lot of embellishing. One thing I'm gonna use the alpha in this collection just to create my title, and I'm gonna place it right underneath the left grouping of presents. It's just the perfect angle there, especially when I was creating the stitching. I knew that my title was gonna go there, so I didn't add that much stitching in that area. So my title is gonna be Christmas Joy. It was the perfect size and it matched the area. Once I have that in place, you're gonna see that I add a grouping of presents here, just some of the puffy stickers, but I take them off after because I thought it was making the layer really heavy at the bottom. And then I'm just gonna add a few stickers and pieces of ephemera to the top right corner of the picture. It just needs something there, and I'm actually gonna fussy cut one of the presents from the paper that has all the presents on the this paper right here has a whole bunch of presents. I'm gonna cut one of the yellow presents just because it needs a little bit of yellow to kind of create my triangle. So I'm gonna cut one of the biggest yellow presents that I found, and then I'm gonna kind of put it behind the picture. After that, all I did is I added a few you're gonna see that I'm gonna bring the enamel dots and just kind of add a little groupings of enamel dots around my layout. What you're not gonna see in the camera right now is that I added a little bit of a few more of the enamel dots to the top left present, and I added a little sentiment, and then I'm just gonna add 2 lines of journal right underneath the yellow present. And just because I was going into, like I said, when I created the stitching, I was thinking of the twinkling lights. I'm bringing a few these are shimmery nubo drops, and it's just the pearlescent white, and it's just gonna create a little bit of sheen onto the layer. And that's about it. This layout, it did take some time to build, but it's so cute. I love how this turned out. I love the collection. The fact that there's so many colors, different patterns, it makes it such an amazing collection to work all your Christmas memories. And you're gonna see in the next project. I hope you can hop onto the blog to get the next project. I'm actually gonna show you how I use the collection to create a few entries on my December daily album. But I love this layout. As always, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me. Make sure you check the Pinkfresh Studio shop for the CAD files. They'll be coming soon. Thank you so much for joining me today. Take care, guys.